Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Cowboy Criminology. Welcome. I'm your host, Derek Judd, the Cowboy Criminologist. So I was sitting myself over the weekend thinking there's not really much new happening right now uh, as far as the world of true crime. And I was sitting there watching because a lot of the things that I'd like to talk about, the Audrey Cunningham case, the Elijah Vu case, have all kind of taken that long pause between uh, the crime happening, the arrest, and the trial. Okay. And a lot of people, it's interesting how many people kind of lose interest in cases after the arrest. But if you really want to uh, understand everything, you've got to follow the trial through all the way to, you got to follow the trial through all the way to conviction. Okay. So I'm in bed this morning and I'm looking at different videos and stuff like this, and I find this news video out of Chicago, and I had to read the title of the video several times. And I even watched the newscast several times because I was trying to figure out what exactly they were saying. The title of the video, and I'm gonna warn you before I even get into this. Um, this video is horrible. It's a news clip, so I mean it's appropriate for TV. But if you're sensitive about crimes against children, you might have a hard time with this video. I know I did, and and this video probably more so than anything. But let me just read you the title: Chicago veterinarian planned to sexually assault unborn child, according to prosecutors. And like I said, this comes out of Fox 32 in Chicago. But let's go ahead and let's just watch the video together. And as we go through the video, uh, I'm going to give you some of my thoughts. All right. So let's go ahead and let's see what's going on here.
Disturbing allegations today have surfaced against a Chicago veterinarian.
Adam Stafford King has been arrested on child pornography charges. He's an animal eye specialist at MedVet. And newly obtained court documents outline those shocking details. Casey Cronus is live in the city's Avondale neighborhood with the latest. Casey?
Sylvia and Terrence, first we need to warn viewers that they may find these details disturbing. The charges against King follow a months-long FBI investigation where undercover agents were messaging with him, and he shared that he plans to sexually assault his unborn child. King is an ophthalmologist here at MedVet who's been part of the Chicago team since 2019. He is also a dog breeder and up until today an American Kennel Club dog show judge. We've learned the FBI has been investigating King since last fall. Through an encrypted social media platform called Telegram, prosecutors say King admitted to assaulting young children, keeping a large digital cache of child pornography, and detailing his plans to sexually assault his unborn child, whom he and his husband are having via surrogate. On March 5th, the FBI raided King's Elburn home. Last Thursday, federal charges were filed and King was arrested. MedVet has not yet replied to our requests for comment, but they did remove his profile in just the last hour. Now, when Fox 32 reached out to the American Kennel Club earlier this morning, they weren't yet aware of the allegations, but within several hours got back to us saying that they have revoked King's judging privileges. Meanwhile, King's attorneys tell us they have no comment.
I'm sure you
Reporting
don't.
Live in Avondale.
Okay, so
Fox 32, Chicago.
I'm a little confused about, and maybe it's the reporting. It says he's planning to sexually assault his unborn child. I don't even want to know if I can think of a way where it would be possible to make that happen. In fact, I'm 100% confident. I don't even want to think of a scenario with how that's possible. Now, I had originally thought, well, maybe he's planning on sexually assaulting the surrogate. Maybe it has something to do with a fetish for pregnant women. I didn't know, but the deeper it got into the video and talking about how on this encrypted Telegram that FBI agents were conducting a sting. And let me explain something. Law enforcement loves sting operations. Okay. Why? Well, they're really effective. And sting operations allow people to kind of confess their deepest, darkest secrets without really knowing what they're doing or who they're confessing to. And I've been in continuing training, and I've talked to people who have been part of those kind of sting operations. You've seen them on Chris Hansen's show, To Catch a Predator, and things like that. Somebody's pretending to be a child of a certain age in a certain place, one thing or another. And the people I talk to who try to keep themselves in the mindset of a child in order to communicate with these people, they always say the same thing. Like, after I'm done, I feel gross. I go home, I take a shower, I just feel disgusting knowing these people are out there. That being said, these folks do an amazing job in helping track down people like this vet. Okay. Now here's kind of the interesting thing. So he's only been charged with possession of child pornography, and as the investigation grows, you're gonna find more stuff out. Now, in the video, remember it said that the doctor said that he had admitted to abusing a lot of children or several children. Okay. His defense, I have absolutely no doubt, is going to come back and say, well, that's a fantasy. You can't hold a person accountable for a fantasy because there's no victim. If in the course of the investigation, they uncover the fact that, yes, he did in fact molest children, those charges are going to be added onto that. This is going to be this should be a pretty easy case for prosecutors. Sting operations, it's very hard to refute anything as hearsay unless you can't produce physical evidence. Now, let me talk about the physical evidence. So, I talked about in the Audrey Cunningham video about preferential offenders, and we talked about how Audrey at 10 years old looked exactly like a previous victim did. You look at his first victim who was grown up, and you look at her and you look at Audrey, and you could sit there and say, wow, they could be family. There's such a close resemblance. Pedophiles are divided into more or less two camps. Okay, you have your preferential offenders and you have your opportunistic offenders. Opportunistic offenders will generally molest a child of their preference, either male, female, or they may not have a preference when they get the opportunity to do it. A preferential offender is looking for a specific type of victim. Hair color, eye color, skin tone, age. There's all these different things. Now, let me explain this. The doctor saying he wanted to sexually assault his unborn child, like I said, it opens up a lot of different possibilities. The type of child porn that this individual collects is going to tell you a lot, and I do mean a lot, about where his proclivities lie. Okay? And depending on, and let me explain it like this, without completely derailing my thought train. Investigators are going to look, or Roy Hazelwood did a wonderful job in one of his books, and I'll put that up here in just a second, where he talks about the motives of a sexual offender. And so one of the things that he always instructed officers to do in sex offense cases was to go through the individual's pornography collection and look at the most worn. Look at what type of pornography was most abundant in the collection, because that would tell you exactly what the offender was most interested in. Okay. Um, so now, obviously, that was with magazines, videotapes, DVDs, things like that. And things have obviously changed. Everything has an electronic trail these days. Even those encrypted apps that are supposed to provide security for everything for people to be able to get away with doing stuff like this, not as secure as people like to think. All right. So my personal opinion is if you're not doing anything that you wouldn't be ashamed of a family member finding out about, there's no reason to have it encrypted, right? Okay. So going forward with this and child pornography uh, is horrible because there is literally classifications or material out there from newborn to late adolescence. All right. Um, anything in between, anything you can imagine. Hopefully, your mind isn't going there, but um, I think Arthur Chancellor or Steve Chancellor said it best in my sexual assault investigators class that I took with him. By the way, he's a fantastic investigator. Hopefully, one day I can reach out to him and he'd agree to come on Cowboy Criminology and kind of talk about some of his experiences. But in his introduction to the class, he said, "How far are people willing to go for sexual gratification?" He asked that at the very beginning of class on Monday morning at 8 a.m., which I promise you set the tone for what was to come. By Friday afternoon, he asked that question again, and there really is no limit to what people will do for sexual gratification. Okay, it's it's very it's very scary to think about, and so the fact that he made such a creepy statement. I'm talking about the doctor now, not Steve Chancellor. The doctor made such a creepy statement about wanting to sexually assault his unborn child. Now, like I said, the defense is probably going to come back and say, well, this was fantasy. This was just talk amongst like minded people. And he was just engaging in a fantasy. He was playing a role, one thing or another. You can't hold somebody accountable for their thoughts in their head, but you can hold somebody accountable for their actions. Okay. And obviously, being in possession of the child pornography, one thing or another is going to come up. But I don't know a whole lot of the details, but what I'm 100% sure about is this case is far from done. We're going to get so much more information uh, about this individual, about his past, his allegations that have come up in the past. And all that's going to be done by investigators on the ground going and talking to family, friends, neighbors, business associates. And they're all going to ask, did you ever have any inkling, any idea, did you ever behave inappropriately with any of your children? Whatever the case is going to be. I just hope that I hope that they can build such a strong case against this individual that they can't, that the defense can't negotiate, can't wriggle out of this. My one concern is that if he's connected to a child porn sharing network, that they may reduce charges or reduce his sentence in exchange for his cooperation. Um, and that's really kind of my biggest concern about that right now, with human trafficking, child pornography being such a huge concern in law enforcement right now. I don't see anybody really negotiating that for him, but stranger things have happened. Um, and I'm not big on community property states, but I would tell his husband to be like the Steve Miller Band, take the money and run, and get as far away from that situation as humanly possible. Y'all, thank you for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button so you can get updates about the channel. If you like this video, please share it with your other friends who are interested in true crime. Share it on whatever social media platforms you use. Y'all take care. Stay safe.